You know, we make a lot of Dragon Ball Evolution jokes on this show, but we haven't really talked about much Dragon Ball Z news because, at least in my opinion, hasn't really been much Dragon Ball Z news. I mean, we're not doing super reviews on Keikaku Corner. We do that separately on, and a Saturday. So, and of course,
I
we've talked
say
about.
we do a podcast then.
Yes, no, we podcast them. We don't do it here in this
Yeah.
specific show. So we don't really have much to talk about because we don't. I don't want to spoil anything about Super, especially I don't want to be spoiled about Super. So we don't talk about spoilers. We don't talk about the show itself in this specific show itself. So there really isn't much to talk about other than
Until
until we got some Dragon Ball FighterZ news. Apparently, 17 and 18 have been announced, which you would think they'd already have been, but I guess they're waiting to leak some more fighters here and there. But I
yeah.
assume, despite its art style, there's going to be a large roster because it's a PS4 game.
Hmm.
So, like, I would imagine, right? They're not going to only have like 15 people.
Well, it depends on what they're going for. If it's a more because it feels it's a 3-on-3 versus fighter,
Hmm.
um, and it's more of at least for me what I've experienced in playing Dragon Ball games. Like I've played Budokai and Tenkaichi and stuff like that. This feels more like a traditional fighter in the sense that it's very combo heavy. It's kind of going in like you you need to have some experience or at least some know-how in doing combos and stuff like that. You can't just kind of pick it up and just punch, 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 and blast. Um, so it might not have as huge a roster as some of the others.
Well, I'm just saying it from the fact that if this is a $60 game,
Yeah,
you better not give me less people than PS2 games have had. Now, I'm not talking about
true.
going after the Kiwis here, the Kiwis of the world. But, like,
Right.
you better
Yeah.
give me a full or mostly full Ginyu Force. Like, I better
Yeah.
have, like, 3 out of 5, is what
Right.
I'm trying to say, if not all
Yeah.
5, right? So, that's all I'm trying to get at here, is that, like, this is
Yeah.
a PS4 game, a lot, like, with its graphics, its graphics make it
Yeah.
look, like you said,
Oh, it looks beautiful.
you know,
It's
I haven't been won over. It's
really
getting to me though. It's getting to me.
okay.
You know what it is, man? It's just the fact that like, and I'm not like I'm gonna get so much flack for this. I think after just seeing fight, I'm not saying the fighting won't be good. I'm just
Mhm.
saying that like after the progression that we've gotten with the graphics in these different Dragon Ball Z fighting games, and with how heavily modded something like Mugen is, and how people can do anything with it. I look at this game and I'm like, oh, is it digital only for $25-$30? So that's the thing. It feels like Super Dragon Ball Z that we've done before on those guys' play. I'm not saying the fighting. I'm talking about graphically. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about fighting. I'm sure the
I
fighting will be
mean,
a lot better than that, than Super Dragon
okay.
Ball Z, which is a game that we played on those guys' play, Dragon Ball Z. Well, duh.
I would I would argue against that, but okay.
What?
Saying I mean the art style wise.
Yeah, from what I've seen from the fighting style itself, maybe I need to get a better look, but the fighting looks. I'm not saying it looks. I'm not saying Super Dragon Ball Z looks better. I'm just trying to say that like with what we've done with, newer games, it
Yeah.
feels like this is taking a step back, but not in like a retro sense. It's just taking a step back, and it's gonna try and charge $60. If it doesn't charge $60, cool. But charging $60 and taking a dip on the graphics, it seems weird to me to do. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean I don't feel like it's taking a dip and it might be just that it's more stylized or in a different
Mm.
way too.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Because I I want to say it's the same company, but I'm not sure.
Guilty
Um,
Gear, right? Is that what you're saying?
yes,
Yeah, I believe it is.
they're
Yes.
the art style is the same people that have worked on Guilty Gear,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a friend who personally loves the Guilty Gear series, and I've played a few of the games with him, and like that's why I'm saying like I get where you're coming from, but personally I love their art style, and to see it be
Mm.
used on Dragon Ball characters, I'm really hyped for it. So
Yeah. So obviously there are cutscenes that are not taking a step back. I'm just referring to like one-on-one fights, like the actual fight themselves. They look like they're taking a step back, but I am wrong. Like, it's not like they aren't using HD masters. Like, I'm not trying to sit there and be like, it just looks just like Mugen, guys. But just looking at some clips, yeah, it does look like they're taking a step back graphically. Now, again, some people are going to say, why does that fucking matter when the fights are going to be that good? And I'll say, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm not saying the fights won't be good. What I'm saying is that especially when over the years you've had very, large story-heavy games, we've gotten to the point where we have Xenoverse doing time travel with different versions because it's like, what else can you do, right? Which I get. I totally get. What else can you do? But I just hope that this game isn't released for a full 60. Because if you're going to tell me this game is 30 and then 20 digital, I'm down. I'm definitely down. And then 60 or more with collector's editions. Because apparently there's going to be a collection edition released in Europe. And it's going to have like a Goku figure with it. We'll see what else is going to have with it. But yeah.
Or possibly soundtrack.
Oh yeah. So I think with that, the Collector Z edition, it's going to come with featuring Goku, 3 art boards, and steelbook packaging. Goku transforming, which looks really cool. That can cost 60 or more. That's definitely more because of the Goku figure. But telling me, it's going to cost $60 and we're not giving you a story mode, just arcade and online multiplayer, and a survival mode, assuming. I don't know about that, right? Like, and now granted, I know we've seen the same story over and over and over. I do get it, right? But you're going to have to make a very interactive arcade mode to, like, if you're telling me this is $60. That's the thing. Because, like, I don't want to compare this to Ultimate Battle 22 because what the fuck, Matt? That would be insanity to do that, right? But I just think of other fighting games that we've had on consoles that don't have a heavy story. And even if this is the best fighting game we've ever gotten on a console without story, and maybe even with story, I would still feel weary about paying a full price, full price $60 for it, just for the fights. Even if I can get online to play with my friends, arguably you could do that with any newer Dragon Ball Z game. Now, you and I don't have newer Dragon Ball Z games. So sadly, nor do you have a PS4. So like, it's not like we could do that now anyway. Nor do you have the game on Steam, neither do I. But still, I don't know. Like, I know the art style, I'm not saying the art style is bad, by the way. If anyone's looking at me like, you're saying you hate the art style. No, I actually think it's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's just, it feels like a step back compared to what we've been getting. That's all.
All right.
That's all I'll say.
And one other thing I would say is that I don't know if you've played or seen any of the Guilty Gear series.
Yeah.
But they usually have a pretty expansive story and lore with their games as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it depends on what direction they take with, FighterZ, but I don't think we have to be worried about it not being worth the price that it comes out as. And for me, for something coming out brand spanking new on a console that is still pretty expensive because it has just come out, that's kind of a lot for me to say, because it's like, would you pay this? Would you really pay this? It's like, I would. I can't right now, but I would.
So if you had the console, you'd pay $60 for this game if there was no story.
Well, if there was no story, then no. But I'm saying,
with the story, I think I'd actually want to buy it.
I'm
or
saying
at the very least get it digital.
I'm saying like the people that are working on this, you can bet your ass there's going to be a story mode.
Yeah, no. And if there, again, like that's what and I'm agreeing with you there. Like, now that I know that, if there is, then like, yeah, I'm totally down for it. I'm just worried about no story, because usually when you get games that have a style like this, and again, not this good, but when I think of like this, and I say shitty only because I'm thinking of, and all I can think of, I need to burn it out of my brain, is Ultimate Battle 22.
Yeah.
There was no story to that. There was no story to Super Dragon Ball Z, which was infinitely better than that piece of shit. There was no story to Dragon Ball GT Final Bout, which is a very awkward position as well. So, I just hope that there's story to this. And if there is, then yeah, I think I'm down for it, and I'd love to play it with you on the show one day. So yeah, so I definitely, but at this time there's only 10 playable characters, 8 and then 2 including the androids. So
Yeah.
I'm going to assume they announce more because even with the
Yeah,
story, that would be very, yeah.
because just recently, actually, there was an announcement about Android 16 coming out as
Oh,
well, and
okay, cool.
they were even showing off like some of his different yeah like
Oh,
techniques.
yeah, one thing that really does matter, and I
Mhm.
know you might not know this. It's funny. I don't even play newer fighting games, but I just I look up some newer gaming news and I'll see people complaining about this. I really hope that this game doesn't rely heavily on DLC packs to get new characters. Yeah.
That I might see as potentially being a problem. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
possibly.
Yes. Now, if there's a story mode, then maybe it's just like they'll give you GT characters in a pack, right? Or they'll give you super characters in a pack with their
Yeah,
own story. In which case, I actually might be okay with that, right? Even though it might only go up to Majin Buu if there's only Z, still, if you give me enough characters to have a story mode in Z,
mm,
and then tell me, hey, pay another 15 to 15. No. 5 to 10 for 5 more GT characters. Okay. Another 5 to 10 for some super. Okay. Right? Maybe a movie pack.
yeah,
Okay. Right? I think that's where we can get into some interesting DLC territory that I don't think is the worst.
yeah,
But you get me in and try to tell me, hey, you have 15 fighters or you have 10 fighters, 11 fighters, and then the other 5 to 6, maybe even 10, are located via DLC packs, season passes, and stuff like that. I'm not really a big fan of that.